Okay, looks like everything is going good. Looks my voice is doing good. All right. Now, I had a commenter saying, is it the cameras that are messing up, like on the Z8 with the 85 f1.2? And I says, no. The difference, uh, the video I did was the Canon R5 II against the Nikon Z8 with both 85 millimeter f1.2s, one for the RF system, the other one for the Nikkor Z system. Okay. And there's more fall off on this lens compared to the RF, which is more, you know, you'll get bokeh, but it's sharper edge to edge. Okay, here it gives you kind of like the character of it falls off as like from the center, like the Zeiss lens that I like so much. So anyway, I'm going to show you some photographs that I took with the Z50II. So with 1.5 crop, it'll give you kind of like the 35 millimeter focal range of 127.5. Okay. So let's take a look at these images. I think you're going to be shocked. Look sharp. The TV in the background looks a little blurred. Okay. Even that's on the same level, what, line of sight. It looks kind of blurry right here also, you know, on the wall and stuff. And I still need to clean that door. But let's just go through these pictures real quick. But look how sharp this lens is. I mean, if you can see little dots, dust, well, I just waxed the table, but still it's kind of blurry, but I was close to the image. And then it kind of blurs out, like I said. Give you a better example. Okay. This one with the lights off on the Tiffany lamp. See, the lights off makes a difference. You see a little bit more dynamic range, but look at how it blurs in the background. And you kind of want that. A picture of my mom when she was a teenager. Here's my dad's grandfather's clock. Look at the rich colors, the sharpness. The spindle is moving. The time is wrong. I wound it up and I forgot to, you know, move the spindle. So anyway, it's catching up. Then you know, like the lovers. But look how everything is sharp. You can see the reflection of the glass with the bike. It's a sharp lens. It's a little, you know, blurred right here and a little bit right here, but you can make it sharp. All you have to do is just stop it down to like 1.8, 2, 4, you know. So I see Z52 and even the ZFC right after this video, they're sharp. Now, I might have missed a little focus out of here. I might have been focusing here. But still, the lens is performing well. The colors are accurate. Now, sometimes, and I have that problem, I have it on silent mode. And usually I wait to hear the sound before I press the shutter all the way down. But when you're taking pictures of wildlife, you don't want that because it scares them off. So sometimes I don't wait till I'm focused. You know, you have to wait for the green little box, whatever. And I miss things. So it's not the lens or the camera. It's just me not timing it right to make sure it's in focus before I completely put my finger down on the shutter release button. But look at the flower. So sharp here is starting to get blurry over here. Okay. That's the character of this lens. If you want everything sharp, you get closer. But look at this here, and then it blurs in the background. So the subject that you're trying to show off is sharp, clear. Everything else is kind of blurred. And that's what I like about this lens. There's a close-up. There's some bird droppings. I saw a bird land on him, and he's eating the little, I don't know what they are, berries or seeds and stuff. Beautiful flowers. You can see, like I said, center, sharp, and then as it goes to the edges, it blurs. So the lens is doing exactly the same thing like it did on the Z8. If I compare it to the Canon RF, you would see sharp, basically. You'll see a little blurriness, but this lens does a fantastic job. And I've tried it on 4 Nikon cameras today. But look how sharp that tree is. So if you want everything sharp, you get closer to the image, and then you can blur out the background and stuff, depending on how far it is away from the subject. But you see these flowers are in front, they're blurred, and then the background trees are blurred. This is sharp. There's the bird nest up that tree. Now, manual focus, all right? You have it on infinity. Every shot should be perfect. So sometimes if you have a problem focusing, where it's focus breathing, put in manual mode, put it on that pi, either in the middle or a little bit off, or all the way to the right. But make sure it's, as sharp as possible. And then any shot that you make, you can get this. You can get everything focused and ready to shoot. And you can even see with the some of the flowers and stuff off of the tree where that's blurred, but the subject is sharp. Look at that. I think anybody can read that. And I'm not even cropping in. I am using a crop sensor camera. It's an 85 millimeters, but look how sharp that. I don't even have to, if I bring it in a little bit closer, that's still sharp. And that's probably the best shot right there. They're overhead. So I went to another tree in the backyard, try to get some toward the sun. And you can see the little, what I call bokeh circles on the leaves. But they're great images. You can even see the little dirt on my shed right here. But then it's blurry in the background. But you can read Rubbermaid. All right? Look at the dog. Prime example. The air is sharp, but then it blurs toward his nose, and then his background is blurred. And then you don't really know what you're looking at, but that's the ground. Look at that. Perfectly sharp. So this might have made it a little bit blurry here because it's sharp there. But look at his collar. And look at the hair. Let's do this. That's pretty sharp, folks. I was focusing right here. Excellent. And, you know, the trees, and then the little kids' slide tree house. They have trampoline over here too. I mean, he looks sharp there, but he's doing his business. So fortunately, he didn't see that. Then I took pictures of the clouds. And you can see where the green part is and the red part are probably on the same level, even this part. But just in the background, it's starting to blur. Just to show off what the lens can do. Same thing, subject sharp, everything else blurred. That's what you want to see. And this is the Z50II. So it has a good autofocus, had no problems with the camera. See, now that was a little bit out of focus, and that was probably my fault right there. Because there was no wind today, so that was my fault. But that one I got in focus, try to get as close as possible with this lens. So you can see the little bitty one with the berries, red, and then the green. And it's very tiny, so you can see that I was focusing on this, but these are blurred. And there's another shot. And then you can see the little spider webs. It's either from a worm or a caterpillar or a spider, but you see them all over the place. Now, this is with autofocus, not manual focus. And you see? Look at that. So I was focusing on the plane, then the leaves were coming up, so I'm going like this, stretching my back out. Oh. But I still got a great shot. Get close to your subject, and the background kind of blurs out. But look how pretty it is. You do not see kind of like round circles. They're kind of like, yeah, you can see the blades. I think it's like a 9 blade. So he's not watering it, or this would be flowers right here on this tree. There's crepe myrtle. I keep watering my trees so they can bloom. If you don't, they won't bloom. You need to water your trees. But you can see even with the branches that don't have any leaves, look how sharp the branches are. And a shot of the flowers and the sunlight with the clouds in the background. Show you a little contrast. My next door neighbor's crepe myrtle. This is the doggy door that I put in for big boy that's laying right next to me. And there's the big boy, Lucky. Look how beautiful that dog looks. And I think that would be my thumbnail right there. Yep, he's snoozing. But look at the light bulbs, how sharp they are. And then the last two pictures. That's an aperture priority. And that one's in I think it was either in program or shutter priority, because I was experimenting with all the different modes. So you see, excellent pictures. Let's get back here. excellent pictures. I would recommend this 85mm f1.2 if you can afford it now. They are expensive, but I used it on a crop sensor camera, and you can see how fantastic the pictures came out. Now, when they start showing off the full frame cameras with this lens, you'll see that the image is a little bit farther back. So this is a 1.5 crop, 16:9, but you can see how clear the images are. So thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.